But even more, the culture of the movement, the manners and the style and the assumptions and the taste and the preferences of the movement reflect coordinator class values and aspirations, and not working class values and aspirations. And so the movement doesn't appeal. Some workers join and they leave because it's too alienating. There's a million manifestations of this. Maybe we'll get to it in the discussion. I'll give you just two and then I'll sit down. In the United States, movement people all read the New York Times religiously, or almost all. Not all, you know, there's no all. Almost all. Read the New York Times religiously each morning. They might put in a half hour, they might put in an hour and a half. Then they give a speech, and they say the New York Times is one of the most despicable institutions in the world. It lies to us, it manipulates us, it constrains the facts, and then they go back and read it the next day for an hour and a half. The working person reads the Daily News, right? Or a comparable newspaper. That's another New York newspaper. And they don't read the front section, they read the sports section. And the sports section tells the truth. The political person thinks that the working class person is a moron for doing this. Am I missing something here? Right? McDonald's. Why does the movement get so agitated about McDonald's? It's an interesting question. It serves bad food. It's a corporation. Employs wage slaves. McDonald's is not alone in these characteristics, especially the latter two, right? I think it has to do with not liking the clientele more than anything else. I think that the movement is really, and it's a lucky thing, don't get too depressed about this. If our movements didn't have problems, we'd be in really serious trouble. These problems can be overcome, right? If you, all right, I'll do one more example just because it's State College, Pennsylvania. It's a city in the United States, has a population of 60,000 people, has a football stadium, American football, 80,000 seats. Every weekend the stadium's full. The whole city turns out. I go to the campus, there's 300 radicals in the audience for a talk. They're all the radicals, they're all radical. In fact, I could walk around the campus with a paint gun, not knowing anything, and shoot all 300 of them. They look so different from everybody else, which tells you something about what they think they're doing. In any case, I'm chatting with them before the talk begins, and I decide I'll investigate. I say, how many of you have been to a football game? 2 hands go up. 300 people, 2 hands go up. Any other constituency on that campus, right? Any other constituency you can think of. I don't know how to come up with one that is ludicrous. You know, the anti-violence, anti-competition, people who get their pleasure from knitting or something, right? 75 to 80% of them, maybe 95% of them will have gone to a football game. But an audience of radicals, 2 out of 300. Why is that? So I say to them, on the way over here I passed a sports bar. Now a sports bar in State College, Pennsylvania, is a little intimidating when you look in the window. They are big. They are really big. Right? You look at the men are big, the women are big, everybody in there is fucking big. So and I look, and it's huge, it's a big bar. So I say to the students, how many of you have gone into the sports bar I pass on the way over here to give this talk, and have sat down to talk to people about war or poverty or racism or sexism or whatever it is that you want to address? Now, it's not a question of raising their hands or not, they're rolling in the aisle laughing. Right? We are a movement that hates the constituency that we're supposed to organize. We fear them, we dislike them, we don't like their tastes, we don't like their preferences, and I think it's because we're anti-working class, to put it starkly. And I think it cripples our capacity. We're not even trying to win. Of course we don't win. In the United States, you need 100 million people in the movement to have a remote chance of winning a new world, at least in my view. If that's true, you can't be doing it by, if you think organizing is sending emails to the people whose email address you have. Right? That's what organizing is in the United States now. You send emails to the people who are on your email list, which means you're sending it to the people who already are in the group of 300. You get to a certain level and you stop. Why? Because it's a community that's mutually supportive. You don't go to each room each night, knock on the door and talk to people for 2 hours, right? And then come back the next night and the next night and build a real movement. The problem in the United States right now isn't the audience. It's not the population, it's us. We don't know anymore what it means to build a movement. what the activity is, what the characteristics of the movement have to be appealing, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that once we rediscover those things, partly through being able to answer the question, what do you want? Partly that is through having a vision that can undo cynicism. Partly having strategy, which can undo cynicism. And partly understanding some of these things I'm talking about, I think we'll do really well. There is more to say, but I think I should sit down. I've used my time. Thank you.